Shalini Auditeves. What is your full name?
Good morning. My name is Charles.
How shall I call you?
You can call me Charles for short.
Charles. Okay. Charles, do you work or you're a student?
Currently, ma'am, I am working as a nurse in Sargent County Hospital for 20 years. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Can you talk about your daily
Ma'am,
routine?
excuse me, ma'am. Can
Hello?
i-ship sana ako sa ano, ma'am, sa data, ma'am, kay lag kayo.
Okay, sige, sure. Yes. So, what is your responsibility at the workplace?
Well, as a senior nurse in our workplace, mainly I supervise my team to function well. I teach them what to do, every responsibility, because in our hospital, we do functional nursing wherein each member has a specific role. For example, one is charge nurse, the other one is a medicating nurse, the other two are the auxiliary nurse. I will first as I will as a charge nurse, I will endorse the cases of the patients and including the medications.
How do you like
then
your
after,
job? Sorry, how do you like your job?
well, at first, I don't like my job at first because I am a musician at heart. But as years go by, I learned to accept the difficulties, and finally I found love in it, and after a long while I enjoy it after. Then the most satisfying part of being a nurse is that people will thank you for everything you do. You know what I mean? And after that, though the salary is not that kind of big, or not that kind of big, but the satisfaction I feel in my heart after a long day of work, that people will thank you for it.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to cut you short. I'd like you to think about this for 1 minute. Okay, are you ready? You must have an extra sheet of paper and a pencil. I want you to think about this for 1 minute. You may start now, please.
Well, I encounter a lot of children in my daily life, but one of one of the favorite child I encounter is my daughter. Her name is Ryu. She's a 6 months old. She's already 6 months old. Today she's 6 months old today. Yes, and I day by day I admire her because I am busy with work, so I most of the time if I am at duty, so every time I have the chance I spend the time with her, and day by day I learn more about her. One thing I learned about her is that she loves music so much. The song she always listen before she sleep is are you familiar with the song Lord I Offer? She loves gospel songs so much. I don't know why. I'm a rocker. I'm a rock star at school. So it's so ironic. And in addition to that, she loves colorful things. I guess her favorite color is green. Well, I do too. I love green too. Maybe she got that from me. And she also loved cocomelon. I guess every child loves cocomelon, but the catch is she don't watch the video. She just watch the intro over and over again. The intro where the ladybug flies over the watermelon.
Uh-huh.
Uh, that's what she loves about it. She
Okay,
keeps
thank
on
you.
watching.
Sorry to cut you short. You've spoken for 2 minutes. Now, allow me to give a follow-up question. Okay. Now, in relation to this, I asked about kids or child. My question is, who are luckier, children in the past or at present?
Well, I haven't really thought about that, but I guess it depends. It depends on the circumstances. Way back before, uh, children are, I think, less fortunate because they don't have that much. They don't have that much to spend. But I guess at the same time, they are also lucky in terms of time with their parents. Cost of living before is not that big, so most of the time parents can spend much time with their children,
Mhm.
and that we tend to spend our time outside rather than children nowadays. They spend most of their time at home because of the COVID pandemic.
Mhm.
So I think that's sad. I think so. It depends on the circumstances.
Okay, thank you. What do you think of the education in primary school in the Philippines? What do you think of the education in primary schools in the Philippines?
Well, I way back before, education system is, I think, way better because census of the ratio of teacher to student is not that big. For example, uh, when I was in high school, we in our classroom we have 77 classmates. So, and we divide our no, I mean, in way back in elementary, we have 60 students in a whole day from 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. But I guess today
Okay,
they
sorry,
divide the
sorry. How can parents educate their children?
well, there are lots of ways to educate our children. One good way is to limit the exposure to social medias, because we know some of the content of social medias are toxic. So we can introduce them to books instead,
Mhm.
and teach them how to read at first, maybe from a song,
What's the difference?
alphabets.
Okay, thank you. What's the difference between children, I mean, Filipino children and Western children?
What? I'm sorry, ma'am. Can you please repeat the question?
What's the difference between Filipino children and Western children?
Well, there are lots of difference I can think of, but I guess one of the most common is that Filipino children are more disciplined in than Western children, because here in the Philippines we still use
Mhm.
a little violence
Mhm.
when we discipline our child, unlike in the Western country, that if you know if you lay a hand on them, you would probably subjected to children violence, and that's a bad thing. Unlike here in the Philippines, you can do a little violence, just enough to uh, get their attention, and after that, as a parent, we should also explain why we do that to them. It's not out
Okay,
of hate, but
okay, thank you. Do you think that young people should have more freedom?
hmm, I haven't really thought about that. Let me gather my thoughts for a moment.
Mhm.
I think young people should be controlled right? I mean, young people nowadays are getting wild, I think. So I think we should limit the things they can access. One good example is that we should set curfews for them because, teenage pregnancy is also common here in the Philippines. So I think we should limit their time going out with their friends, and of course we should also educate them, and we remind them of their own responsibilities as
Okay.
children.
Okay, thank you. Do you think that parents care too much about children's education?
Well, if I can remember it, if my memory serves me right, parents should always monitor the education of our children. One example is that my mother used to scold me back then when I have low grades at school. So she always makes she always makes sure to monitor my grades, and that if she found out that my grades are, getting down, she would tutor me for a while, and then remind me that I should focus on my education, because if we don't graduate, we will not get better jobs, I guess.
Okay, thank you. That's the end of the IELTS speaking test. Goodbye. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. You've actually improved a lot from the last time I interviewed you, I have to say, and also the template is almost there. I think somehow it's already equipped in your system. So the way you answer it, it seems like you really take time to explain everything, which is really important in the IELTS exam. Now, there are just some things that I want to emphasize here. Okay. Yeah, in terms of if we are going to go back to the first part, I was asking you like about your routine. Good thing that when I asked you after that, you tried your best to continuously just talk about it, which is very good. Like the first time I told you that, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to answer it this way. Because whenever you're going to talk about your job, don't make it as